far as college Division I, I was behind. I was behind a lot.
Oh yeah, the airport. So I heard about that.
Well, you're right. It's not a comeback. It's a get back. Chasing history, pretty much a get back. My ultimate goal is to win a 4th world title, and in that process, I will become the oldest fighter to win a world title, surpassing the great Bernard Hopkins, who surpassed the great our guy, Big George Foreman. Oh no, well, I'm 47 in a few months. So, you know, I figure I get a couple of fights in and coming back strong, fighting some guy in the top 12, 15, and then moving to the top 10, and with hopes of positioning me for a world title shot.
I went to Jack Yates High School, which is very popular these days for basketball. They won state a couple of years back to back. They were pretty good before I got there with Ricky Winslow and Michael Young, which right now their sons have just got drafted to the NBA. We were probably top 7 in the greater Houston area, and I didn't even end up playing varsity until my junior year. Like most guys, you know, they play varsity freshman year, sophomore year. Well, I was actually too small, and the guys that were ahead of me at that time, that was definitely, you know, better than me, and I wasn't ready for varsity. But when it was my time, the guys that I came in with, we had a pretty good team, and ended up getting a scholarship and finishing high school in '99. Carlos Hurt, he was at...
Went to Louisville?
Went to Louisville. They the ones that knocked us out in the playoffs.
And he didn't even finish at Louisville, did he?
No, he got in some trouble and going to Division II or something like that. The guy that went to Davis, he's actually in the major leagues right now. His name is Crawford. Pretty sure a lot of people know about him. He's with the girl, what's her name?
She was with Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Evelyn
Rosado, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was in high school, basketball, football, played quarterback. He had a scholarship to go to Nebraska. He didn't take it. Might have been Nebraska, somewhere. But we ended up doing an interview together in high school, and that's when actually I found out like he played baseball, and he was like, "No, I don't think I'm going to the major leagues." I was like, "This guy play baseball?" I used to I always watch like the Rockets games with my grandmother, so we'd be sitting down, you know, watching the games, and I would do this all the time, like just growing up. And Calvin Murphy would always have like basketball tips or hints or whatever, like during halftime or commercial breaks. Maybe it's about a certain pass or certain things you would do when you're taking a shot or playing pick and roll. And I would listen to it, and after the game, I would go outside to the court and I would practice it. And I knew I was smart, I was quick. I used to always, you know, the older guys would always tell me, "Hey man, you're not gonna be able to get to the basket all the time, and if you do, what you gonna do around the bigger guys? Like you gotta be able to shoot, you know." So I was like, you know, it makes sense. So after we would play, the guys would go home. I would still be at the court just shooting.
Outside court at the time?
Outside court, in the CUNY home, like in my apartments I grew up in. I would just shoot. If you was looking for Eddy, I was at the park shooting free throws. I was shooting pull-ups, shooting threes. I would just shoot. Like I would even shoot like to get lunch money. Like the older guys, "Hey man, let's shoot for," you know what I'm saying? Let's shoot dollar shots. I got a different coach. Like even basketball wise, I was the first season really, I was lost. Like as far as terms and, you know, how to philosophy, I didn't know nothing. You know, this all at Yates, they just threw the ball up. You know, we ran a couple plays, probably, you know, do the shell drill. But as far as college Division I was behind. I was behind a lot.
So what caught you up to speed?
Just me wanting to learn and asking questions and watching. And then, you know, with me playing a point guard.
That was it. I mean, you know, when you do the 3, 2, 1 last second shot, it was always college. And at the time, it was either Duke or Kentucky at the time. it was just, one of those things where that was, you didn't even think about playing professional ball. At least I didn't. It was all college,
So where did Sean Elliott in Arizona come in? Because by the time I remember that's all you used to talk about.
Yeah. So I got my first letter from Arizona like in 7th grade. So, they gave me my first letter. So I'm like, all right, that's where I'm going. It's all about Arizona.
Yeah.
And then I went to basketball camp too for a couple of summers. Yeah. And I met him there once at one of the camps. So that's kind of where, when they came into the mix. He was like, he was very good. I mean, he's playing against 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade campers, right? And he was a professional player, so he looked awesome.
Okay.
More impressive was Steve Kerr. He was a lot more impressive. He was at the camp as well, just from a shooting. He put on a shooting clinic that was pretty impressive. So that he was a kind of that seeing him perform in that camp when I was in, I think, 7th grade at the time, made me realize, like, okay, if you want to be a good shooter, you have to pay attention and listen to him and do the things that he does. He was going strong. He was known throughout Texas quite a bit. I mean, a lot of the smaller towns had good players that knew that they wanted to come to Houston because, a lot of Texas coaches were migrating to Houston to see, some of Texas's, top talent. And so he was very good at, I guess, marketing BCI. So when he would talk to people, he would, what I remember is him saying, hey, this is why you need to come here and watch. I got this player, he can do this, blah, blah, blah. I got this player, this guy's so smooth. If you don't really watch the game, you might not even notice him, but pay attention to him. So he was very good at doing that. And I think word kind of got out as some of the players started to go to different schools. And I can't throw any names out there, but some of the guys early on, I remember one guy went to Notre Dame. I'm trying to think of
Elmer Bennett.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
Or so him and Damon Sweet, I think. What, Beaumont? Was it
right from Beaumont, right. So a couple other guys there, kind of opened folks' eyes. And when I got there, and even after I left Texas, the knock, or not even knock, but the thing about Texas basketball players is that you were going to get a great athlete. They were all going to be great athletes. Skill-wise, if they're coachable, you can, develop some skills later on in their career, but you're definitely getting an athlete, and you're getting guys that did double time. They played football, then they played basketball. So that was kind of what folks thought about when they thought of Texas high school basketball players.
And that was a time you had Luke Jackson, and I guess he came through BCI and some of those other players, because most of the time they were going to Southwest Conference, right?
Right, that's right.
And then they started branching outside of that. So the early 90s was pretty strong for that. BCI was pretty well known for. AAU wasn't even really that known back then, was it?
AAU wasn't that big. I mean, AAU was up and coming. They were almost like peers. BCI and you had AAU, couldn't do both, right? You could try to do both, and you'd be short in one or the other, or probably both. You try to do both. So I went the BCI route. AAU obviously has proven, has had more longevity. BCI is not even. Is it still out there?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, but at the time they were peers, and coaches were going to both. Coaches were going to BCI tournament. They were going to AAU tournaments.
And was it him, or was it BCI that you think got you? I don't know if I want to say got you your shot as a freshman on varsity, or how did Coach Miller let you know that he was that interested maybe in 8th grade? How did he?
I think it was more so some of the fact that I played ball in LA versus growing up in Texas and playing. Because growing up in LA, it's a different type of ball, probably a little more finesse, which forces you to play a little more perimeter. Right. So I've always played perimeter. Even when in 8th grade, I was playing center at Hoffman Middle School. Yeah. But I didn't play center. I played outside. I played the 3-point line. I handled the ball. I passed the ball. I learned all that playing in LA, and then going to some of these basketball camps kind of reinforced some of the basic fundamentals. So I think it's mostly that. And the fact that, Coach Miller said, okay, let's put these guys out there and see what they can do. This guy has a nice size on him. He's a freshman. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he can shoot, pass, and, So yeah, I want him.